Hello and good evening. Good evening, people. Good evening. Please let me know if you can hear me. Okay. So let me know if you're just joining. Good evening. Hello and good evening. So good evening. So please, if you can hear me, let me know. Is my voice echoing? Sounds like it's echoing. If you can hear me, please let me know, okay? Let me know if you can hear me so we can start immediately for our tutorial for today, for tonight. Please let me know on the comment section. Just type it that you can hear me, okay? Yes, good evening. All right, so let's see. Popola, good evening. Okay, Roxanne. Okay, thank you so much. Popola. All right, thank you so much. Okay, guys. Oh, I left my phone. Can I please have my phone? So I want to show you guys. Antoinette, thank you so much. Good evening. Oh wow, you're watching from the Kenyan islands. Good evening. So let me know, guys, where you people are watching me from. Let me know. I want to know where you're watching me from. Thank you. All right. Casey. Casey Yoka, you're watching from Kenya. So I want to show you guys what we are doing today. It's a hip gown. So it's just a simple hip gown. Okay. Yes, it's a simple hip gown. It's a beautiful piece. Can you guys see? See how beautiful this is. This is just a simple chic gown. So this gown, you can actually make it as a long gown. You can make it as a short gown. Roxanne, you're watching from Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you so much for joining. So guys, so now the next thing, okay, let's take a look at the style properly. Okay, so for this, we're going to be using the waist. We're going to be using the waist dart for this. So if you can see how it is, you can see that the dress is fitted around the tummy area, but the hip side, the hip is not fitted. You understand? The hip is not fitted. The hip, it has a shape of the hip, but it's not fitted. It's just fitted around the tummy and then the chest part, and then it has a scoop neckline. All right, Bahat, thank you so much for joining. So guys, so you can see, so what I'm trying to do now, I'm trying to adjust my camera so we can see our table completely, as in completely. Okay, so let's see. Yes, I want every aspect to capture. If I had to get an extra table, so we'll be able to see our tutorial. So since we are cutting and sewing today, that's why I'm here. The days that we're doing cutting will be at the other side, okay? So let's start. So the first one, you want to do a gown like this. If you notice that gown, you can use any pattern for it, but what it has is just like a waist that. So the first thing we're going to do, okay, I think I might need another color of chalk, and I pray because this yellow is like it's not showing. I'm not very sure. Let me check if I have another color of chalk. Because the other color of chalk that I have is white. White chalk. Just I know I saw a blue chalk a while ago. Let's just hope that my marking is visible. Let's see. Is it visible? Can you guys see it? Please let me know. Oh, let me just try and remember where my blue chalk is. I think I found one small one. Let's see if we can manage this. So this line that I'm marking, so this line is going to be like my start line. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do, so I'm not using a pattern, we're drafting directly. So you can see how I place my fabric. This is the back fabric, and then this is the back piece, and this is the front piece. And it is placed on hold. All right. Good evening, Helen. So I'll come back and read all the comments. So you people don't worry, just be dropping them. Bukola, you're welcome. Okay. So like I said, so the full length of this gown is about 30 inches. If you notice, it is a short gown. Can you see? Yes. So what I have here on my paper is 32 inches. So the next line we're going to place our bust line, which is 10 inches like this. Okay. If you know that your hands are not straight, please use your ruler. So 10 inches. And then the under bust is 13.5. So can you see? It's not like my hands are straight though. Don't mind me. They are not very straight. 13.5. So why I'm using 13.5 is 13 because I'm going to come down from my shoulder by half of an inch. Okay. Yes, we're cutting a gown today. We're cutting a gown, a hip gown. It's a beautiful gown. So just stay tuned. So the next measurement line that we're going to add, the next measurement we are going to add from this point is our waistline. So waistline is usually 17 or 18 inches. So for this case, I'm going to use 17. Okay. So when I use 17 inches for this, the next measurement I want to mark now is my hip measurement. So how do I get my hip measurement? I'm just going to take my tape like this from this point like this, and then I will mark. You understand? So basically, most times, what I normally do, the way I normally get my hip measurement, I take from my shoulder to my half cut, which is 17. You can see from that half cut to my hip line is going to be like 7 or 8 inches. Okay, so I'm going to mark it here like this. All right. So once I mark it here like this, I know that my hip is not going to fall below this line, it's going to be above this line. Okay. So the next thing we want to do now, the first thing we want to do now, let's start adding our measurements. Okay. So this is like a basic bodice measurement, basic gown or basic dress. So the first thing, the shoulder measurement that we're going to use is 14. So we'll divide 14 into two, we have 7, and then we'll add just 1 inch for allowance. So when we add 1 inch as allowance, I'm going to come down by half of an inch. So you can actually come down by 1 inch. The reason why I'm coming down by half of an inch is because I'm drafting directly on my fabric. Okay. So that is why I'm doing that, because fabric is different from paper. So if I do this, I'm still going to lose some little inches. So that is why. So from here, the next thing I'm going to do now, I want to take half of my armhole. I want to take my armhole line. So how do I take my armhole line? My bust measurement, I'll divide that by 6. Okay. When I divide my bust measurement by 6, I'll add 1.5 to it. So when I do that, I'm going to have like 8 inches here like this. So once I have that 8 inches, I'll mark it here. So this line automatically becomes my armhole line and then my chest line also. So let me extend it so I'll see it. So like I said, if you have questions, drop your questions. on the comment section. Okay, so I'm going to just mark it like this, and then I'll use half of it to like mark for my measurement. So you can see or just come out like this, and then from this point I'll create a beautiful curve like this. My chalk is so tiny, eh? The big chalk, all the chalk that I have around now, all of them are white, yellow and white, they are light colors. So I'm just going to mark this like this, okay? Mhm. So the next thing we want to add now, we want to add our measurements. So let's continue. So like I said, we're adding a waist dart, so you can see that is why that part is tight. So the next thing we're going to do now, for this part, we're going to take out our full body measurement first. So the first measurement we're going to take out is our bust measurement. So our bust is 36 divided by 4. We have 9. We'll mark it like this. And then I'm going to add about 3 inches allowance or 2.5 inches allowance for my bust part. I'll mark it like this. Can you guys see? Okay, thank you so much, Kola. Okay. So the next thing, so that same line, I'm just going to extend it like this. So this is my bust line. So this is my under bust line. So my under bust is 30. My under bust is 30. So when I divide 30 into 4, I'm going to have 7.5. So I'll mark my 7.5. So I'm going to add a dart to this part. My dart is going to be 1 inch. So I don't want to add, this part is going to be tight, you understand? So it's going to be tight. So I can use 1.5 inch as my dart. But if you notice, what I marked originally is 1 inch. But when I'm stitching, I'm going to use 1.5 inches for my dart, because I want my dart to be, I want that area to be really tight. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do at this point, I'm going to use 2 inch for my allowance. So that 2 inches I'm using for my allowance, out of that 2 inches, I'm still going to take out half of an inch for my dart. Okay, so I'll mark it like this. Can you see? The next measurement I want to take out is my waist measurement. So my waist measurement is 32, which is 8 inches divided by 4. We have 8 inches. And then I'm going to mark my dart. So I'll use 1 inch for my dart also. And then I am going to add that same, I'm going to add 2 inches allowance also. So I'll add the 2 inches allowance like this. So when I mark the 2 inches allowance, I am going to do this, okay? So for this piece, we're going to add a bust dart to it. Okay, so let's continue. So the next thing we want to mark now, we want to mark our hip. So can you guys see the way the shape of the dress is looking? You can see, what is it? Thank God. You can see the way the shape, for those of you that have not seen, this is what we're actually doing. Can you see how beautiful? So it is like an airline shaped dress. You understand? So that is what we are trying to achieve at this point. You can see that waist area, how like snatched and tight it is, but the shape came down. So now the next thing we want to do now, we want to add the shape now on our hip. So the hip measurement that I'm using is 40. When I divide 40 into 4, I have 10 inches. So I'll mark that 10 inches. If you notice, the hip is really hippie. Let me use that word. So at that point now, because I'm going to go as much 3 inches or 3.5 inches to for my hip. You understand? Because if you notice, that hip is not a straight hip. So I'll mark it like this. And then from that point, I'm going to come to the down part of my blouse like this. So when I come to the down part of my blouse, I'm going to check what I have. So for this, normally the way we normally do when you're making this kind of fitted dresses, when you check what you have from your hip, you're going to take out like 2 inches. That's what you place at the down. But for this case, it is different. Okay. So you are not going to do that, because if you do that, you are not going to get that shape that you have. So for this, you are just going to mark, you are going to measure your clients. You understand? So let me see. You're going to like measure the down part of their skirt or excuse me, you are going to measure the down part, okay? So for this one, for the down part, what I'm going to do, I'm just trying to like eyeball it. I'm going to use 10 inches for the down part, and then I am going to add just like 1 inch allowance to it, okay? So even this measurement that I'm using is big. It is big. hmm It is big. So I'm just trying to check it. It is really big. Not supposed to. Like normally I'm supposed to use like 19. You understand? Which is like 19 is like not 20. 20 is 10, which is like 9.5. You get. So let's see. You can always shape it. So the next thing from this point, this is going to come like this. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, I am going to use my curve. So I'm just looking for like the best way to do this, because at this point, if you miss it, you have missed it. Okay. So at this point, you really don't want to miss that curve. So you can see this part now. So this one, I'm curving it now. I'm curving it to meet our original hip. And then this part, I'm going to blend it. This curve is not doing me well. Let me look for the other curve. I think that one will be better, because this one is kind of like giving it one kind of shape there that I'm not feeling it here. Yes, I think this is better. Okay. Can you guys see? You can see the shape. Okay. So like I said, I'm going to read the messages. You guys should just let me know where you're watching me from. So the next thing we want to do now, I want to add our scoop neckline. So you guys, can you see how wide this neckline is? You can see. So like I normally tell you guys, when you are making a wide neckline like this, it is not going to be deep. Can you see? You see how wide the neckline is, but it is not deep. If it was deep, it would have been sagging. Okay. So now we're going to cut that neckline. So for the neckline, I'm just going to come to this point like this. Let me pull this a little bit. I'm going to come to this point like this. So I'm going to use like 5.5 inches for that neckline. Can you see? It is wide. Or let's try 5 inches first and see, because since we're cutting directly on our fabric, let's try 5 inches. It's better for it to be too small than for it to be too big when you are dealing with things like this, okay? So after marking it like that, the next thing you are going to mark for that neckline, the depth of that neckline is going to be like 2 inches or 2.5 inches, okay? So that's the only way. Or else if you make it and it is too, can you guys see what I'm doing? So I marked it like this. Okay, that's for the front neckline. So for the back one is just going to be like 1 inch. You understand? So it's going to be like 1 inch. So this is going to be like our back neckline. Can you guys see? Okay. So the next thing we want to do now, we want to add our dart. So our dart is around this part. Can you see? This is where our dart is. So you guys should please give this video a thumbs up, like the video. I would appreciate it. Okay, so I'm going to come to this part. Remember, I told you that we're using 1.5 inch for our dart, and we are adding a waist dart. You can see we're going to add a waist dart. So when you take a look at it, if you notice, I'm trying to zoom in. It looks like the darts are not even visible. You understand? So I think what was done was the darts they were taken on the pattern, and then you just shape it at the end of the day. Okay? So the darts are not really visible. The darts are not visible. So at the end of the day, okay. So let me show you guys. So I'm going to come to this part now, and then I'm going to take my bust span measurement. So for that bust span measurement, I'm going to use like 4.5, which is 9 inches. So I'm just going to mark that 4.5 like this. I'll mark it across the lines like this, and then I'm going to join it so that it does not run. It ran from this point to this point. Not even it will not get to this bust line. We're still going to bring it down. Okay. So the next thing from this point, we say we're taking 1.5 inch. So I'll take that 1.5 inch, I'll take 0.75 and then 0.75 to this part like this. And then I'm going to just blend this in like this. Okay. So this part now, we are going to hold this part inside like this. Okay. So for the back, for the bust dart, so if you want to take a bust dart, I actually did not make provision for that on my pattern, so I'm just going to show you people, but I'm not going to include it, so please note. So if you want to add a bust dart to this pattern, what you are going to do, you can see that my pattern is the same. You understand? So if you're adding a bus that is not going to be the same. If the bus that you want to add, if it's 1 inch, you want to add, make sure that your front pattern is 1 inch longer than your back pattern. So that's what I'm trying to say. Your front pattern, that's this front piece will now be like this. It will reach here. You understand? It will reach here. So that 1 inch now, how do you bring that 1 inch back into this part like this? It is a simple process. So the way you bring that 1 inch back into this, you can you are just going to mark from here to here, and then you connect it like this. That's what I mean. From this point, you mark 1 inch or mark 1.5. So it depends on how many inches. If it is 2 inches, mark 2 inches. You understand? So once you mark it, you are going to connect it like this to this that point like this. So I did not make provision for that. So if I do that now, it's going to truncate my pattern. Okay, so I'm just using this as guide to show you guys so you can see. Can you see? So once you add that pause that like that, you are, because if I take this out now, can you see? Automatically to truncate my pattern to now make my front pattern to be short. Okay. So I'm not going to do that. So if you want to do that, all you have to do is simple thing, just add the length on your front pattern. That's all. So once you do that, you are good to go. You are not going to have any problem or issues. Okay. So now let's cut this out and then check what we have, because we're going to stitch this. Okay. So like I said, so let's cut out our back neckline first like this. So at this point now, what I want to do at this point, I want to take my accurate shoulder measurement. I don't want any extra to be there. So I'll just mark this like this. So I just want to cut it once, you understand? So that's what I'm trying to do. I don't want to trim it again, trim it, add no. So after that, I'm going to cut. I'm just trying to trim. So I'm trimming my pattern like this, and then I am going to cut. If you note, if you notice, you see that I did not cut my front armhole at that exact length. Okay, can you see? You see that I did not cut it. Let me take highlights. Okay, so I did not cut it at that exact point. Okay, so let's take this guy out, and then now I can now trim out my front armhole. Can you see? So this is what I normally do. So like I said, that's the beauty of live stream. There are so many secrets that are taught here. So you see, this part at this end, it must correspond. You understand? If not, the shoulder is going to be longer. So when you trim, no matter what you do for that your back armhole, let it blend in that way. Can you see? Make sure it blends, but you can see that it's bigger than the front armhole. So the next thing, let's open this and see. Can you guys see our scoop neckline? Can you see how beautiful? You see that it looks like what we have on the picture. So perfect. Can you see? So if you remember, we used 5 inches. Okay. Yes. So the next thing I am going to do now, I am going to mark. I'm going to open my back piece, and let's see the shape of our gown. Let's see the shape. Can you see? So I think I'm going to trim this, but if I trim it, it might not enter this my mannequin. This my mannequin, they are horrible. So for that back piece, so what I'm trying to do at this point, I just want to mark so that I'll know where I'm placing my dart. So that is why I am doing this one that I'm doing now. Okay. Yes. So that I'll know where I'm placing my back dart. So remember, that's my zip allowance, and then from this point to this point, I'm just going to mark it. And then I'll add my 0.75, 0.75. Okay, so now let's start stitching. So for the neckline, I don't know. There's no, I've taught you guys how to do facing on this channel before. On our live stream, not only this channel itself. So I'm not sure, we're not going to waste time with that. So let's leave the facing. Okay, so different ways. Another way you can cut out a facing. You understand? Let me show you guys in case you don't know how to cut out a facing. Facing is really simple and easy. Okay, so when you want to cut out a facing, this is how you actually cut out a facing. You're going to take this like this. Let me work on my front piece, and then you place it like this. Can you see? It's very simple and easy. It's a simple process like this. Okay, so now I'm just going to stitch. Sorry, I said stitch. I'm just going to cut this like this, and then just make sure I come down like between 10 inches down. So basically what I'm just going to do is this and then turn out my neckline like this. I'll place this like this, and then I am going to sew and turn. So when I sew and turn, after sewing and turning, most times what I like doing, after sewing and turning, I can play with my facing however I want. You understand? So let me show you guys. I can play with my facing. So at that point, I can decide to trim. You understand? Give my facing any shape that I want to give it to. Okay. All right. So you guys should please note. So now let's shift our table and then come and stitch this dress. So I'm just going to bring my camera like this. Let me just bring it closer and then shift this. Look at the chalk. I told you people I was looking for one chalk. See, big chalk that I was looking for. I knew that I saw it, but I just could not remember where I saw it again. Okay, so I'm just going to, so I'm trying to clear all of these things out at this point now. Just clear them all out and let's come and start stitching. Oh, how I love to sit on top of this carton. Makes it, it's also soft and okay. So let's see. I'll place that. Okay. Wow. I'm not even okay. You did not see how I cut the hip. I shaped it now. I shaped it. Oh, are you just coming, Amanda? If you are just coming, you have to watch it again. I really made it simple, very simple and easy. How I cut the hip part. Can you see? So there's actually a way. The way for you to get this, the way for you to get it is from the down part. You understand? You can see the way the hip came out and then the down part went in. So that's this like the secret. You understand? That's like the secret of getting this hip part. Once you come out with your hip. So for the hip, I added like an extra of like 3 inches to my measurement. You understand? I came out normally. You know when you're sewing a pencil gown, the down part, you reduce your hip measurement by 2 and just cover it. No, for this one, you are going to reduce it with as much. So let me even check. Let me check and see how many inches did I reduce to. So my hip is about, what I have here now is about 14, and then the down part of my dress is about 10. So can you see? So we reduced with like 4 inches, between 3 to 4 inches. You can see. Yes, okay, this is about 11 and we have 14. So we reduce it like between 3 inches to 3.5 to 4 inches. So the more you come down, the more shape you will have, okay? So that's that. So the next thing now, let's stitch, okay? So let's stitch. So let me check how many minutes do we have. Okay, let's see. I think we still have time. So let's do the facing. Let me show you guys for those of you that don't know. So how to sew a facing. Can you see? So I'm placing my facing. Oh wow. I almost made mistake. Oh. So I'll place my facing on the right side like this and then place my fabric. Okay. So when I place it like that, I'm going to pin this. I'm going to pin this down. So I'm not going to sew the facing for the back. So I'm just showing you guys. So I'll pin it. Place the facing at the right side because you are going to sew it and flip it to the wrong side. Okay. All right. So now we're stitching. Can you guys see? All right. Thanks, Amanda. You're welcome. So you can see. So you see the neckline. So I'm just trying to turn it. You know. So when making a dress like this, use a facing. Most times I always prefer using facing because facing looks, it actually makes your work to look really professional and neat. You can still use bias binding. It's okay, but so can you see? So I've trimmed it and then I'm going to turn it. Let me show you guys what I was saying. So now for this part of my facing, I can decide to, to like just give my piece. That's any shape I want. Let me not go and use mistake and cut cut my main fabric piece. Okay. So after cutting now, I can now turn like this. So I'll just use my pin. Can you see? To pin this down. I just want to show you guys the neckline from the front. So that's why I just changed my mind. You know, initially I said I was not going to do this. But I just wanted to do this so that you guys will see. And then you trim off your excess at this point. So that you guys will see the neckline. How beautiful. Can you see? You see the neckline? Can you see? Beautiful. Okay. Esther, thank you so much. You're welcome. Thank you. Say the network is poor. Yeah. So now let's do our back piece. So for the back piece, first of all, what I'm going to do for the zip allowance, because we are going to shape this part, I want you guys to please watch. Okay. I should have done it on the bigger table, but you people should please watch. So when you are doing a gown like this, you don't want to run your zip allowance. You know, we have allowance on this dress, on this piece. So you really don't want to run your zip allowance, just run it straight from up down. Don't do that. So let me show you guys how to shape the back of this dress, that it will make it will not have a zip bulge, and then that shape you'll be able to achieve it properly. Okay. So you can see what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to place this one together. Can you see? So when I place them together like this is where I will come in. So normally I'm supposed to just run a stitch like this down to the end, but no. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to mark this like this. That is, I'm going to start stitching like this from this point like this. So just let me just run it first, and then so once I run it, and then the next thing, so once I run it, I'm going to come in from this my zip allowance. That's from this waist area now. I'm going to come in like quarter of an inch or half of an inch. Okay. Let me just show you guys. So when you are doing this, make sure you have allowance. If you don't have allowance, don't try it. So I'm going to come in like this part because of the zip bulge. I'm going to come in by half of an inch. Can you see what I'm doing? Can you see? So when I come like this, that's when I'm measuring. When I'm showing my zip allowance, I'm not going to sew it. That is, I'm not going to sew it straight. I'm going to come. So let's close it up now so that you guys will see what I'm trying to say. Okay. So at this point now, my zip allowance is not running straight. Can you see how it is curved? You see, it is curved. So this will automatically help me to eliminate any form of zipper bulge, anything that will make that part, that center to swell. I'm not going to have it. So at this point now, I will cut open. So most times this is what I normally do, because I don't want to, I just leave it. So after everything, can you see? You see that middle part, you see how it is not the normal regular straight ones. Okay. So now the next thing we want to do, we want to join our piece. So before we join our piece, first of all, let me add my darts. Okay. So I'm just trying to mark my waist dart. So like I told you before, my I'm not adding a, what do you call it, I'm not adding a bust dart because I did not make provision for my fabric. So normally kind of dress, if I want to do it with a pattern, I am this that I'm putting, I'm not going to add it on my fabric. You understand? So on the pattern, I will do everything on my pattern, add the that, take it out, and then can you see how I'm taking out the that? It is not straight. You can see it is not straight because it cannot be straight. The top part is slim and then the down part, okay? My ears, can you see? It is not straight. So I'm going to add the second one. That's this one also. I'll add it. So like I said, on the pattern, I'll just make sure I finish everything on the pattern, and then I will stitch it out on, I'll cut it out on my fabric. So I'm not, so you are not going to see my darts. So it's going to be like a dartless dress, you understand? It's going to be like dartless. So the dart lines are not going to show. So you can also do it that way. Okay. But the issue with that one is that if you do not get the measurements correctly, you have to, that's, you now be forced, my ears. So you now be forced, I don't know, I'm supposed to use the cutting board. So now I'm adding the front dart. Okay. So like I was saying, so if you do not get, for that one, if you miss it, you have to now be forced, that's the shape, you still be forced to like still add the dart last because you are going to need that dart to like what do you call it, you are going to need that dart to have the shape, that's, what am I saying, you will need the dart to, this one now that I'm doing, I'm just eyeballing it, to get the shape. Yes, because if at the end of the day when you place it and you do not get it, that's, the shape is not, it's not shaping. The shape is not shaping. And so the only other option is, okay, so now I've added that one. I'm going to open it like this, and then we are going to see, can you guys see? Yes, so the next thing now, let's add our full body measurements. Okay, so at this point now, it's always good, most times I like to do that, just add the full body measurements before I join them together. So I'll place it like this, and then I'll add my bust measurement. So at this point now, you want to divide your bust measurement by 2, okay? So I'll mark it like this. So I have 19 inches because my bust is 36. So you can see, just place your tape, divide your tape into 2 at this point, and then mark it. And then you come to this waist measurement, okay? This waist area. So when you come to your waist area, you add your waist measurement, okay? So you mark it, can you see how I'm marking it? And then when you get to your hip part, note that your hip is not, the hip part, see what I'm doing, so note that your hip, for the hip part, you are just going to stitch maybe with like half of an inch, do you understand? Because you are not measuring the hip to be tight, so just connect that to your waist measurement here, and then connect it to the bust measurement here also. And then for the down part, just take the down part like that, just use the same half of an inch like that, and then go. So this is what I'm saying. So your bust measurement, connect it, thank you those people that are giving me hearts, thank you, connect it to your waist measurement, okay? So when you connect it to your waist measurement, you mark your waist, and then when you get to your hip part, you are not going to, your hip is not meant to be tight, so you use that half of an inch, just mark it follow the shape like this. You understand? Just follow the shape and then bring it down. So that's that. So the next thing now we want to do now, let's join. There are some things that are very annoying. You get? When I say annoying, I mean annoying. All right. So like I said, when I'm done, you guys should please drop your questions. Drop your questions. Give me thumbs up. Like the video. People should like my video. The likes are not much, and I know people are enjoying it. So like it. Okay. So I'm going to take my back piece like this, and then I'll place it with my front piece. Okay. Can you see the neckline? So you make the neckline to align. So for the neckline, I'm just going to stitch it normal, because while I'm stitching it, oh, I don't like this one. I'm squeezing my face. Right. So yes, okay. So now, yeah, this so can you guys see how? Okay, this dress is a sleeveless. Yes, I'm supposed to explain. People know that sleeveless has a whole lot of another mechanism of sewing a sleeveless dress on. I think I've done that on my YouTube channel before, but it has. It's not the same way. Okay. So can you see the way I'm slanting the shoulder part? Yes, because the shoulder is not meant to be straight. Okay. So that is why I'm doing that. So this is my pin now. You can come out. So let's sew the side of our. I'm stitching from the back. I always like stitching from the back. I always like marking from the back. Okay. So now I'm joining. Okay. So this one, watch how I'm going to stitch it. I'm going to stitch up first. So once I stitch it like this, I can now turn this and then shape it my own way. So once I'm done at this point, I can trim out every excess that I want on my piece. I need to get my pressing iron. So let's press and see. So I'm just trimming. Let's see. Can I get my pressing iron, please? So while I wait for the pressing iron to come, I'm going to turn it. Thank you. Move your leg on. It's even me that is here. I'm trying to. Okay. I hope this one does not switch off my light. There's always no light in the evening in Nigeria. I don't know if it's only here. Don't know. Every evening. It's like this down part of my dress looks like it's too wide. I want to reduce the down part of my dress a little bit. Mm. Let me not take that risk because my pressing iron is on and I want to on my machine. So let me iron first. When I finish ironing, I can now change it. You guys get. Let me not go and on it now. Everything goes scatter. I'm just trying to press it. It looks fine already. Looks so pretty. When making a style like this, you have to be very meticulous, but it's fine. I can just see the shape coming out already. Can you guys see? Yeah. I'm not shaping the armpit, so the armpit of the armholes. Mm. Wow, this looks so really, it's really fine. So let me take out this thing now and go off now. So let me turn off I'm not sure. I don't even need to adjust it again. I think it's okay. Okay. So I pulled off. So let me show you guys how to, at this point now, when I want to shape in the armhole so that it will have shape at that top part. Here's what I'm going to do. That just went off. So for this I'm not doing making any much emphasis on it today. So that is why you see that I'm just like doing it. So this is the armhole. So like I said, those of you that have been following me, I've been telling you guys, I used to tell you guys that I've never really had issues when it comes to armhole, okay? Yeah. All right. I'm just so it looks so pretty. So let's see. I'm trying to so let me adjust my camera so that we can see the dress straightened up. Can you guys see? I'm never ready to put it on that mannequin. Because for me to put it on the mannequin, I have to rip the back open since I did not add any zip to it. So I'm ready for that. I'm just showing you guys. Can you guys see how pretty this looks? How this will look? Can you see? You see the shape? You see that waist area? It's to be tight. Can you see that waist area? So once you put it on, that waist area is going to be tight, and then the hip part is going to come out like this. You can see the shape. You can see the neckline. You see how pretty it is. So guys, uh-huh. Okay, let's see. Okay, Amanda, one. Let me see. Kaboom, goom. Good evening. Okay, you're watching from Zambia. Helen. Yes, try it out tomorrow. You should try. Can you see? This looks so pretty. Yes, thank you. Those of you that are giving me thumbs up, thank you. I feel like me, I don't used to. If I want to sew this one now for myself, um, I'll have to. I have to wear it tight inside. I don't used to wear short things. That's the thing. Before I used to wear short things. Cool down for Jesus. That's good. Okay, guys. So thank you so much, all of you that tuned in. I like Guy. I used to like Guy very well. I still like Guy. That is why I'm doing what I'm doing. My friend will look at me, say, "Ah, Gloria, you like Guy." That's true. So thank you so much, guys. All of you that tuned in, those of you that are giving me hearts, thumbs up. Thank you. So you can see what we did. It came out fine. Yes, you really came out fine. So if you have not subscribed to my channel and you're watching, please subscribe so that you will not be missing out on all of these live streams. You people can see that live stream as in everything beginning to end. We will do it and we'll finish it here. Even though we're using the days that we don't, we're using what do you call it? Different types of fabric to just do our live stream. Just everything is just for me to be able to teach and impact knowledge. So thank you so much, guys. I will see you guys on, let me say, Thursday. You people should pray for me. Let me have energy. Once I have energy, I'll come up. Some people used to ask, when is my live stream? When is my live stream? The truth of the matter is that that question is difficult for me to answer. At times, moral no too day, I just tired. Like today now, I almost did not show up, but it's like, no, let me just show up. So thank you so much, all of you that tuned in. I appreciate each and every one of you. People should like this video. This dress really came out fine. Even me, I love it. Maybe I'll try and see if I can wear it too. I'll have tight. Come on, wait. And come and see. Tomorrow I'll try it. I'll wear it. The neckline, the weight is the same, but the front neckline, the front neckline, we use 2.5 inches for the front neckline. That's the depth. The back neckline is 1 inch. You understand? Don't use silk, oh, because if you use silk, it will be soft. You understand? This hip part will not stand. You need a strong fabric, like a cotton fabric or like a mikado, or a strong what do you call it, satin. If not, this hip part, it will not set. It will, if it's silk now, it will just, you know. So that's it. So silk might not really come up. Let me see those people that have dropping questions since. Okay, Bukola, you're watching from London. Helen, good evening. Chiviva, thank you so much. You're watching from the US. Thank you. Fanny, you're watching from Zambia. Roxanne, okay, Trinidad. Thank you so much. Esther, thank you. Thank you. Let's see. Okay, let's see. All right, thank you so much. See you guys on Thursday. Bye bye.